Unit 12. Part 1.
Do you think birthdays are important?
I think they are significant. Birthdays give me a chance to express how much I love and appreciate my friends and family members. Plus, I think birthdays are great occasions for people to get together. For example, my friends and I are normally too busy to see one another, but we make time to have dinner whenever it's someone's birthday.
Who do you usually spend your birthday with, friends or family?
Well, I spend time with both. During the day, my friends normally take me to a fancy restaurant for a meal, then to a cafe or a bowling alley, depending on my mood. After that, I usually go home to spend the evening with my parents.
How do children in your country spend their birthdays?
According to my sister, who has an 8-year-old kid, Korean children usually invite friends to their house to have a birthday party. At the party, the children eat their favorite foods and receive gifts from their family and friends. They also make a wish and blow out the candles on their birthday cake.
Do you like to give gifts?
Sure, I love to give little things to people around me, even when there's nothing to celebrate. The things I like to give are small practical items, such as pens and free drink coupons. I give these to show people that I appreciate and care about them. Plus, I feel good when they thank me for the gifts.
When do people give and receive gifts in your country?
Besides birthdays and anniversaries, Koreans usually exchange gifts at Christmas, even though many of them are not Christians. Additionally, it is customary to send out cards and gifts at the end of each year. This is to express thanks to people who have helped us out during the previous 12 months.
What are the biggest holidays in your country?
The two major holidays in Korea are the Lunar New Year and Korean Thanksgiving celebrations. As their names suggest, the New Year's celebrations are tied to the beginning of the new year, while the Thanksgiving holiday celebrates the autumn harvest. Both holidays follow the lunar calendar, so their actual dates change from year to year.
Do you think the number of national holidays should be increased?
Yes, I think there should be more national holidays. Compared to workers in other countries, the average Korean works a lot of hours, so they deserve more days off. In addition, people usually spend quite a bit of money during the holidays. Therefore, having more of them could boost the economy as well.
What is your favorite holiday?
Among the holidays, I like Christmas the most. I love to give and receive gifts, and Christmas is a good time to do that. Moreover, my mother usually prepares lavish dinners for the holiday. Since she's a great cook, the meal is guaranteed to be good.
Part 2.
I've attended several weddings in my life, but the most memorable one was my sister's. My sister and I have been inseparable for our entire lives, so it was a huge deal to me that she was getting married. Her wedding was very emotional. My father wept while he walked my sister down the aisle. I also cried like a baby when my sister and her husband exchanged vows. I think it was the first time I realized that she was really getting married. Luckily, I pulled myself together before it was time for me to sing. I sang a song called Proposal, which is about happiness and trust in marriage. I had mixed feelings about the wedding. I was happy that she found someone to grow old with, but I was a bit sad that we wouldn't be seeing each other as often as before because she would be moving in with her husband. Anyway, the wedding was impressive to me, not only because it was very beautiful, but also because I experienced lots of firsts. It was the first time someone close to me got married, And it was the first time I ever saw my father cry.
Part 3.
What do people usually give newlywed couples as a wedding gift?
I think practical gifts are given most frequently. This is because newlyweds traditionally move in together after their wedding, and they need many things to furnish their new home. It can be a burden for a young couple to buy everything all at once, so presents like household appliances and dinnerware are very useful and can make the transition to married life easier.
Do you think there's a right age to get married?
I know that people have different opinions about this, but I think that there is an ideal time for marriage. Specifically, I think people should be in their late 20s or early 30s. By that age, most people are finished with university and have been working for a few years. This makes them more likely to be financially stable with some savings. This financial stability makes it easier for a couple to raise a family.
Part 2.
I'd like to tell you about my trip to Jeju Island, which was my favorite vacation ever. I went there with my cousin because he knows almost everything there is to know about Jeju Island. He has visited more than a dozen times, so he acted as my guide. We got to do a lot of fun things while we were there. We visited some beautiful beaches and took a lot of pictures of the beautiful scenery. We even got to go horseback riding along one of the beaches. However, our favorite activity was eating. We had some mind-blowing sashimi. It was pricey because Jeju is a tourist hotspot, but it was worth it. I loved the trip for several reasons. First, this trip was the perfect opportunity to get away and relax. Before we went, I'd been swamped with work due to a new project. Although the trip wasn't that long, I was able to recharge enough. Also, it was the first time I truly enjoyed nature. Since I was raised in a large city, I was more familiar with skyscrapers than trees and fields. However, on Jeju Island, I was surrounded by nature no matter where I went.
Part 3.
Do people prefer to spend their vacations alone or with their families?
Well, individual preferences differ from person to person, but I think most people prefer to be in the company of their families. That's because when you travel with your family, you get the chance to make wonderful memories and share the joy of new experiences with those you love. Furthermore, you never know when there might be an emergency. If something bad happens, it is much better to be with people who care about you than to be by yourself.
What do people do to prepare before going on a holiday?
To begin with, people look up information on the area that they'll be visiting. Through their research, they can find out what the weather will be like when they visit and whether they should get vaccinations or visas. If they don't check this beforehand, they might encounter a number of obstacles. Plus, people make travel arrangements before going away. For instance, booking a hotel and renting a car are commonly done in advance.